Hi stamping friends, Jackie Ballheis from Confident Stampers. I have a fun thank you card to share with you today. Now, it's filled with tips. We're going to talk about using some detailed dies to the Big Shot. We're going to talk about vellum. Haven't used vellum in a long time. Some tips for adhering it, as well as some tips for stamping with the big background stamps. So before I flip that camera down, just a quick reminder, make sure you leave me a comment, give me a thumbs up, show me some love. That's what allows me to bring you videos 3 times a week, all geared towards quick and easy stamping, because that's what I'm all about. Stamping Made Simple is my middle name, I think. So make sure you let me know if you need a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, if you need a catalog sent to you. I would be happy to share one with you and help you in any way that I can. But let's go ahead, flip this camera down and get stamping, because I have so many tips to share with you today. Let's get started. Like I said, our video is filled with tips today, from vellum, adhering vellum, to using dies, to the background stamps, and a lot more. So this is a card. We'll just kind of give you a close-up look at it. And then we're going to dive right in by first talking about background stamps. Now, the one I have here is called Handwritten. As you can see, these are big. They're bigger than the front of a card. It fits on the ginormous block here. But when you go to stamp with these, one tip that I have always used is I do everything upside down. So I'm going to just leave my stamp upside down like this, ink it up holding your ink pad. Okay, just kind of move it around, ink it up good. And then because this one has words, I'm kind of a little nervous about getting things straight on it. So what I do, even though I need a smaller piece, I started out with a, what do we got here? 5.5, 4 1/4, a full card front size piece. We're going to set it down on there. Then I'm going to bring up my scrap paper and go over it and then rub. Now I really only want this piece to be 5 by 3 3/4 for my card. So by going a little bigger like this, we have some wiggle room to go ahead and trim it off. Now that's stamped pretty good, but you can see at the bottom it's kind of coming off a little bit. But I can take it to my cutter now and I can trim it down to the size I want. So let me go do that for you a second. There we go. Now when we put our card together, I have a piece of the vellum. This is actually vellum cardstock, so it's a little heavier, but we're going to put that right over it for just kind of a nice soften it touch on there. But before we do that, we're going to grab our Thank You Thinlit die and we're going to cut this out. Now, when I cut with the thin dies, I like to use the magnetic platform. If you don't have the magnetic one and you're using the regular platform, make sure you use the thin die adapter. But you don't need it with the magnetic one because this one's a little bit thicker. Then, because this die is quite detailed, I like to use my precision base plate. Notice how I was careful when I put it down because it sticks on there really tight with those magnets. Then we put our cardstock. Then we put our die along with a clear cutting plate on top of it. So let me go run this through the Big Shot. There we go. And then we can go ahead, take that off. This should pop right out of there. And then I like to use just the piercing tool if you got pieces sticking in there, and it'll also help you get it started to peel it out. And then we'll just go ahead and peel this off. There we go. And if you have any extra little pieces that stick in there, you can just pop them out with this tool as well. And then we're going to go ahead and adhere this right onto the vellum. Now with vellum, you need to be really careful because adhesive will show through it, so we don't want to do that. I like to use the Tombow multi-purpose glue, but with our die here, we're going to put just a little bit on here. You don't need a lot. Let's get it started. And then I just kind of go around and I put little dots. Okay, you can see how very little I'm putting. If you put too much, it's going to goosh on you, and we want to be careful that we don't do that. So we just put the dots on there, and then I'm going to put this right on my vellum where I want it. We'll kind of go down towards the bottom. Push it down good, let it stick to that. And then this, because I want this adhered over my vellum, and this is where we have to be careful that our adhesive doesn't show through, we're going to actually flip this over and we're going to put adhesive once again through on the vellum, and we're going to just do it where we have those words. You can see right through here, so it's almost, you know, it looks like you're putting it right on that thank you again. And then I can go ahead and center this over that piece of vellum like so and stick it down. And now it's adhered and you won't see any of that adhesive. Now when I put it on the front of my card, I just put adhesive on the back, just on that Whisper White, And you can see once I stuck it down, I did punch 2 holes up here and put some linen thread through it. And that kept the top part of the vellum from kind of flopping down because the adhesive is only there. Now the final trick I have for you to share today is I brought that background stamp to a little bit, or I stamped a little bit on my inside piece. My inside piece is always 5 1/4 by 4, but I just wanted a little bit of it on the side. So I took a piece of my scrap paper here and I tore it kind of randomly, and we can put it however we want it. We're going to cover that up like so, because I only want it to stamp right here. So once again, we're going to ink upside down, but this time I do have to pick up this ginormous stamp, but it's not as critical because I'm not stamping over that whole thing. And just try to get it as straight as you can. If it's a little crooked, it doesn't really matter. And we stamp like so, and there you go. You can see it just gave me a nice little edge to my card. So we'll come back to the finished one. Quick and easy. You could whip out a bunch of these, change the colors on them to any color or any background stamp would look great down there. This Thinlit comes all by itself. It's just a thank you one that's perfect for so many uses. So I hope you enjoyed today's card and all of the tips we had in there. Again, if you have any questions or you're looking for a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to be that person. Let me know if you need a catalog. I'd be happy to send you one. And also, I'll have a link down in the description of the video here that'll take you on over to the blog, and I'll have pictures of the card as well as a list of all of the supplies that I used. If you need to place an order, you can do so right from there. So again, let me know if I can help you in any way. So until we stamp again, have a stamp happy day.